This is how I plan to crush my 2023 real estate agent goals, and you can too. Now, the reason I'm making this video is really just as a framework and as something I can look back on at the end of 2023 to see how I did. Hopefully it can help you out, but this is just what I'm using to set myself up for 2023. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm creating a vision. I'm deciding what is it that I want to have occur, what do I want to have happen, and I'm not only just creating this vision for 2023, but also, 5 years out, 10 years out. I'm looking at what do I want my life to be, and then I'm kind of breaking that down into smaller chunks. So that way I know if I want my life to be, if I want to have a private jet, these are the things that I need to do in order to get that private jet based on yearly increments. And honestly, without that vision, there's really no reason to have goals personally, in my opinion, because what's really driving you to reach those goals if there's no higher purpose or no long-term vision that you're trying to accomplish through those goals? So now that you've got your vision all set out, whether it's just in your head or on a PDF or you made a vision board, however you do it, now I'm gonna have to make a plan in order to reach that vision. And my plan is gonna be as granular as possible so that way there's no excuses down the road if I'm not hitting a certain goal. Now, my personal plan, since I'm talking about real estate sales, is how much money I'm going to make. So I set out the amount of money that I'm going to have earned by December 31st, 2023, and that's my main overarching goal for my plan of 2023, my main vision. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm going to decide based off of past sales and what I'm projecting for the next year, what is my average price point going to be going into 2023, and then based off of my average price point and how much money I'm going to make, how many units, how many homes do I need to sell on a yearly basis, and then on a monthly and even a weekly basis in order to hit that sales goal. So now that I have how many units I need to sell, I have to really come up with a plan of how am I going to get the leads, how am I going to get the clients that are going to buy and sell those houses to help me reach that goal. Where am I gonna get them from? Now, personally, I like to choose just 3 buckets to lead generate with and to get leads, because that gives me something that I can focus on, and I don't wanna have, 17 different things that I'm trying to do all at once, because none of those will end up, in my opinion, going very well. But if I focus on a smaller amount of things, maybe it's just my personality, but I can do those things better. So personally, my 3 buckets of lead generation are going to be circle prospecting, using our past database of clients and old leads, and also using and utilizing social media. Obviously, that's why I'm making this video. And your buckets can be really anything you want. You can focus on FSBOs or expires or cancels or your SOI. You can go out door knocking, you can do mailers or flyers. There's so many different things you could do. You could partner with different alliances or small businesses to promote your services. Really, whatever your 3 buckets are, just do them well, and you can be successful at them. So now that I have my 3 buckets, I have to decide how much time am I going to spend in each of those 3 different buckets in order to hit my overarching goal for the week, for the month, and then for the year. And then once I figured out how much time I need to spend on each of those buckets, I'm going to then decide when, most importantly, when am I going to spend time in each of those buckets on a daily or on a weekly basis? Because for me, I have found if I don't put something in my calendar, it's probably not gonna happen. And honestly, sometimes even if I do put it in my calendar, it's still tough to make it happen consistently. So making sure I actually follow through and complete those activities on a consistent basis, for me personally, is what's gonna be the make or break in reaching my goal for 2023. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to block those times out in my calendar, and I'm going to do everything possible to make sure I don't schedule anything on top of those lead generating activities. Because without lead generating, really, what are you doing in your business? And maybe that's just my perspective, but if you're not generating leads for the future, what you're doing right now is just for a short-term gain, and you're not gonna have any long-term benefits unless you're consistently lead generating day after day after day, because that's how you're gonna build a consistent pipeline. I've seen that from experience, and that's what's gonna keep you out of the roller coaster ride of real estate sales. So that's what I'm doing as I prepare to go into 2023. I'm gonna work to get all of these numbers all set out and get my calendar sorted and in order, so that way I can start right now preparing for January of 2023, because really preparation starts now in November and December, because the leads that I'm generating right now are gonna be ones that close in January and February and March. And so you do have to keep in mind with real estate that your year really ends kind of in November, December, because a lot of the lead generating activities you're doing in those months are for the next year, except for the occasional person looking to pay cash and close really fast. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully that can provide some sort of a framework for you. That's what I'm using, and we'll see how it goes at the end of next year.